How you doing, fight fans? It's EJ Boxing Live here, and what we're gonna do, the road to the championship for Anthony Joshua, and so we're just gonna go through the guys that he should fight, and obviously get on the road to see where he's supposed to be going. So obviously there's me and Anthony Joshua, the future champion, on his way. I think this is his second fight. I met him in the Prize Fighter versus USA weigh-in, and that's where I met him and took that picture. And for me, when I went to the Prize Fighter, it was to see James Toney, but seeing Anthony Joshua there was a bonus, so it was good for me. So we're gonna move on and get straight into it. As you can see in this picture here, like, and Anthony Joshua as the structure and the body of even someone like a Hercules, just like a big strong man. Like, a lot of people talk about the Adonis and stuff, but that's a Greek. So I'll go more like someone like I don't know if you guys know about this guy called Peter Jackson. In this picture here, Peter Jackson was basically born. He wasn't born in Australia. He's a West Indian, I think, out of slavery. Came out from Australia, and a boxer from Australia who came to the United States, tried to fight what's the guy's name again, the guy who beat Bob Fitzsimmons, a gentleman, Jim Corbett, but he wouldn't fight him. Actually, I think he maybe he did fight him, but he was trying to get a championship. But at the time, they were saying about his body was so muscular and structured that they actually sculpt his body. So I'd say Anthony Joshua was kind of coming at that mold, that kind of Peter Jackson mood, and he was a very good boxer, technical boxer, very good and pretty good. You want to check him out, Peter Jackson. Obviously, you can see the book by Bob Peterson. So yeah, and obviously moving on to the next guy, obviously Joe Louis. Similarities between Anthony Joshua and Joe Louis. If you look at Joe Louis back in the days, you see his muscular body. He had a similar type of body, and Anthony Joshua himself, looks at these great old fighters as well. And Joe Louis, to me, and Anthony Joshua, they have similarities. They both hit hard. They finish guys quickly. You look at Joe Louis's early fights, and you see him just beating out Lee Ravage. He beat out Max Baer, and he knocked out all these guys early. Obviously, before Max Mellon got to him. That fight he wasn't supposed to lose. But Anthony Joshua, there's similarities, and Anthony Joshua, and hopefully for me breaking down this, we can we'll realize where Anthony Joshua's going to be going. Hopefully you don't make mistakes of Joe Louis in terms of underestimating anyone. So hopefully he fights the right opponents at the right time. So as you can see, Anthony Joshua here in the picture looking at the Mike Tyson, and that's who Anthony Joshua, when I talked to him that time in the prize fighter weigh-in, I was saying to him, he was telling me that his favorite fight was Mike Tyson. I was surprised, and he goes, yeah, that's how he likes to fight. That's where, when he was coming up, and Mike Tyson was the guy he looked up to fight. And even me myself as well, and a lot of guys look at Mike Tyson, exciting fighter, knockouts, and just brought excitement to the heavyweight division. And Mike Tyson himself looked at people like Jack Dempsey and all these other great fighters before him. So that's the kind of mentality Anthony Joshua has when he fights. But also, you can see obviously these knockouts like Mike Tyson. Similarity, knockout, same kind of short uppercut. Mike Tyson throws hooks up close. Anthony Joshua's pretty good up close. He's very powerful, man. Very powerful with opponents, and also he likes Ali as well. As you can see here, he can use his jab, right hand if he wants to. He can box if he wants to. He hasn't used it so far. Well, he used it too much, but when he realizes guys are wounded, Anthony Joshua's fierce, boy. He goes in for the kill for real, just like Ali. And there's similarities there. Not really like people can see them, but Anthony Joshua himself, these are the guys he looks up to. Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, and so we're moving on. So let's get straight into where we need to go, and let's talk about his apprenticeship. Obviously, we know he's Olympic gold medalist, heavyweight medalist from obviously out of here of London, and won it from Watford. And so his apprenticeship at the minute, he's been knocking out all the guys there. But these are the opponents I'm gonna bring up, that I think that basically he should fight. And you guys, so this is in this picture here. He's getting his hand wrapped by James Ali Bashir. Me and Boxing Beats and Rounds, we always talk to him, and with Ben Umar as well, and some of the other guys, J Dills. We talk to Mr. Ali Bashir all the time. He always calls us when we talk to him about Klitschko. He's Vladimir Klitschko's assistant trainer. Jonathan Banks is the head trainer. So Mr. Bashir was wrapping Anthony Joshua's hands when he was in the Klitschko camp. And so we're moving on to, obviously here you see Anthony Joshua sparring with the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Vladimir Klitschko. So he's been in the ring, he sparred with the actual undisputed champion of the world, and Vladimir said at the sparring, who gave him some good sparring, and you can see there's Jonathan Bax in the background, and it was some good sparring in the camp, and Vladimir Klitschko was happy. He was happy. I think this fight was for the Pula fight. He was getting him ready for it, and it was some good learning things. Anthony Joshua took a lot away from it, and Vladimir Klitschko said Anthony Joshua is the future of the heavyweight championship. You see them having a picture, so they had a great spar, and they enjoyed it. They fairly get along, maybe if Vladimir Klitschko is still around, if Anthony Joshua makes his way up there, we'll see. So we're gonna move on. Let's get to the journey of Anthony Joshua on his journey now to the champion. So these are the opponents I think Anthony Joshua should face. So let's get into it. First opponent is Ian Lewison. Ian laying out Lewison with his record of 10 wins, 2 losses, 1 draws, and 6 knockouts. Ian Lewison is the Southern Area champion, and a lot of people think, Ian Lewison may be a good, but this is a very good test for someone like Anthony Joshua. He should have faced before getting to Kingpin, so we're gonna get to it. Yeah, he should face someone like Ian Lewison, who'll be a good test for him. And regardless, let's say, suppose even Anthony Joshua lost to Ian Lewis, and people are like, that can't happen. I'm just saying, even if it wouldn't be that bad that you could pick yourself up, but he's a Southern Area champion. If you look at some of the guys in the heavyweight division, like Bruno and some of the other guys before Lewis, they went through all the champions, man. They didn't skip no one. And Anthony Joshua, this guy's a Southern Area champion. Obviously, Southern, we're over here in the south, obviously in London, and these are the guys you should really face. Eddie Hearn and them guys, they've avoided people like Andy Josh, Ian Lewison maybe, and these are the guys you should really be facing if you want to get a good workout. Not Kevin Johnson. To me, he's vastly experienced and stuff like that, but we'll see. A lot of people, they're thinking he's too good and he shouldn't be facing Ian Lewison, but I tell you what, Ian Lewison would have been a good test for Anthony Joshua, and I don't care what anyone tells me, mate. That guy would have came to fight, and it would have been a good fight regardless of who won. You would have definitely got your money's worth, and these guys wouldn't have been laying, they're not there to be laying around. Ian Lewison's never lost no fight by, he's never been knocked out or stopped or anything. He's lost obviously in the prize fight by points, but I tell you, he would have been a good test. Alright, we're moving on to the Highlander, Gary Cornish. Yeah, the Scottish guy up in Scotland. Yeah, this guy is pretty good, man. This guy is pretty good as well. I mean, in terms of pretty, pretty good, it would be a good test for Ian Lewison. So Gary Cornish, in my opinion, would have been a good test for for Anthony Joshua. I don't know why Eddie Hearns decided to avoid him for some reason. It don't make no sense to me, because someone like him, he's tall, he's 6'7", and like you see, you go against these type of guys, he'll get you ready. He's got a record of 20 wins with 11 knockouts, you see, and he's 28 years old. That's where you want to be. That's the sort of fighters you want to be going against. Gary Cornish, that type of guy up in Scotland, and it's a good test because obviously he's a big tall guy, and fighting against a big tall guy, he give you some problem. He's undefeated record, so that's why I think he should be fighting next. All right, we're gonna move on to the next guy. We're gonna go to Lucas Brown. Yeah, Lucas Brown, man, another guy. He's the Commonwealth champion. This guy should be getting, these guys like Cornish, Ian Lewison, these are the guys Anthony Joshua should be facing. Lucas Brown, he's like I said, he's the Commonwealth champion from Australia, and like I said, he's another belt that Anthony Joshua should be, in my opinion, should be facing. And Lucas Brown would be a good test for Anthony Joshua. He's beat Lucas Brown himself beat James Toney, and he beat what's his name, Richard Tower. That's why I haven't mentioned Richard Towers in here, because obviously Ian Lewis and Lucas Browning has already beaten him already. So he's got a record of 22 wins, 19 KOs, and he hasn't lost as well. So he's another guy, undefeated guy. It will give you a good test. So you got the Southern Area Ian Lewison, you have Gary Cornish, and you have the Commonwealth guy, the Commonwealth test. So I don't know why Eddie Hearns avoid these two guys, but these are the guys. If you wanted to face anyone, these are the guys Joshua should be facing. All right, so that's the Commonwealth champion is Lucas Browning. So moving on. McDermott, Big John McDermott. Yeah, people like, yeah, Joshua blow him out. So he's got the English belt. He's got the English belt from the Commonwealth. He's got, what belt has he got here? I think it's the British belt. Yeah, he's got the English belt. So yeah, you take the English, like, Southern area, Commonwealth, and the English belt. I mean, you clear up. You clear up domestically before you move on. That's how things have been done before. Anthony Joshua. And I'll tell you what, all these guys I mentioned. I mean, because he's beat Michael Sprott, and he's beat what's the other guys there? The Bedford Bear. He beat him. I'm talking about Joshua. Then they thought, oh, you don't need to fight all these guys, yeah, because they fought these guys. But it would have been good experience for Anthony Joshua. Credible wins as well at that. Really credible win. Big John McDermott, the English champion. You'd have loved to see that fight. Between Joshua and Big John McDermott. I don't know what's going on with Big John. I know when he's fighting next or whatever, but I would have liked to see Big John McDermott, faced Anthony Joshua. So. Yeah, that's the sort of fight you'd like to see. So moving on to the next guy. All right, who we got over here? Oh yes, of course, Dylan the Villain White. Obviously, he was at the Klitschko camp training as well with Vladimir Joshua. They got into a bit of argument. Mr. Ali Bashir was telling me in Beats at the time, but they sorted it out and. They didn't argue. They didn't spar at all. They would cordial to each other in the camp. And Dylan the Villain White, I'm telling you, mate, he beat Anthony Joshua in the amateurs, and a lot of people want to see that fight. And then these are the steps, because if he picked up the Southern area and the Commonwealth and the English belt, Dylan White would have been the logical guy for him, coming up. Dylan White just come off a band, and he's got a couple of fights, and he really wants to fight Anthony Joshua. And that's the good thing. If you've got a guy who really wants to fight you, these are the guys you want to fight. So Dylan the Villain White would have been a great fight for Anthony Joshua, if he picked up all them previous belts before. So that's the sort of fight I would have liked to see as well. Dylan the Villain White, I'll tell you what, let me see his record. Dylan's got a decent record. Let me see his record out here. Let me see what's getting on there. 1 second. All right, let me see what record he's got a decent record. He hasn't lost no one either. These are all undefeated fighters we're talking about here. Dylan's got 14 fights and 11 knockouts. So, and he's 27. You see what I'm saying? So most of these guys facing, they're all on top of their game. They haven't lost. They're undefeated. They've all got ambition. So these are the sort of guys you want to fight. Is Anthony Joshua in my opinion. I think he would give him a good stern test. Is Dylan White. So that'd be a good fight for him. All right, moving on to the next fight. If he gets past Dylan White, let's go straight up for Price. Yeah. There we go, man. I think Price would be a good fight. David Price, who's won the Commonwealth and the British title already. So that would be the logical fight for him. Before, that'll be a logical fight for him. So if he gets past Dylan White, the big 7-footer, big 6'7". Let me see Price's record. He's got David Price's record. Big giant guy. He stands at 6'8". He's taller than Gary Cornish. What's his record? He's got 19 wins. He's got 19 wins with 16 knockouts. And he lost twice to Tony Thomas. So he's got a good record. He's 31 years old, and that would be a good step up for Anthony Joshua if he was going. And you know what? If I was doing his career, I'd have him fight these guys. I'd actually have him fight these guys. To see where he's gonna go. All right. So So the next guy we're gonna move up to the British, Commonwealth, and European champion is Tyson Fury. And for me, Tyson Fury would be a good step for Anthony Joshua at this point. A good step. And you know what? Yeah. End of the day, Tyson Fury might be vacating them belts. So if he vacates them belts, then Dylan White or Price, they can match up for that. So obviously I like to see what happened there. Because my channel is only 15 minutes, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a break here. I'm going to start on part 2. I'm going to start from European and go into the world scene with Johnson and some of the other guys. All right, so I'll catch you back in the next bit, and we continue part 2 on Anthony Joshua's road to the championship. All right, peace.